guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be tier ranking all of Stephen King books with little to no explanation because we can. We have Supreme, Still Good, Mid, Literally Forgettable, Bad, and Haven't Read. There are, surprisingly, a few Stephen King books that I still haven't read. So starting with Carrie goes in Mid. It was okay. Salem's Lot, still good. It holds up. It's still good. Rage, first book in the Literally Forgettable. I could not tell you what it's about other than it's a boy in a school. Literally, that's it. The Shining, debating between Still Good or Supreme. I think I got to go with Supreme though. So it is definitely above Salem's Lot, so I think it needs to go in Supreme. Next up, The Stand, which is my favorite Stephen King book. Definitely God tier Supreme. Night Shift, a lot of his collections are going to be either mid or literally forgettable. The Long Walk, mid. I'm actually currently reading it right now. It's just okay. The Dead Zone is the first book in the bad section. Did not like that book at all. Firestarter, still good, still holds up. We're chill with that. Dance Macabre, have to go with mid. It was cool. It was interesting. I liked his nonfiction. Roadwork, bad. I just thought the story was not that great. Cujo, bad. I don't like this book. The Gunslinger, the first book in the Dark Tower series, mid. A lot of the Dark Tower series is going to be mid, although I love the series as a whole. Running Man, literally forgettable. Different Seasons, literally forgettable. Could not tell you one book in that collection. Pet Sematary. It's mid. I know a lot of folks love this book. I don't love it. To me, it's just okay. Cycle of the Werewolf, the first book of his that I haven't read. Christine, bad. It's just a spooky car, really? No. The Talisman, I read that last year or reread it last year. Again, it was mid. It's okay. And then, whoops. Didn't mean to click that. Sorry. Eyes of the Dragon, still good. As far as a fantasy horror type thing, I thought that was a really good book. I liked it. I did. Thinner, mid. It was just okay. Skeleton Crew, mid. Again, a lot of his collections are going to be mid or either literally forgettable. Come on, you knew it was going to be in Supreme. Of course. That's a great freaking book. The Drawing of the Three is maybe one of the few books in the Dark Tower series that, I do like it. Misery, mid, again. Tommy Knockers, I thought that was the strangest book. I didn't make sense to me. The Tommy Knockers, bad. The Dark Half, literally forgettable. I kind of remember the premise of it, but not much. 4 Past Midnight, I do remember the Langoliers. It was okay, mid. Needful Things, I think that's a Supreme book. I do like that book. I thought it was an interesting book. The Wastelands, Dark Tower 3, mid. It was okay. Gerald's Game, bad. It has an interesting story, but not done well. Dolores Claiborne, still good. I think I reread that book once every few years. I'd like it. Nightmares and Dreamscapes, mid. It's okay. Insomnia, I mean, again, I know the basic premise of it, but I couldn't tell you the story. Rose Matter, still good. I really do like that book, The Desperation and the Regulators, I love those books. Yeah, I think I'm going to put those in Supreme. The Green Mile. I hated this story. And yes, it's just because it's so sad, but whatever. It's my list. I can do what I want. I hate that book. Wizard and Glass, the fourth book in the Dark Tower series. I hate that book. It's so lame to me. Bag of Bones, mid. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything to write home about either. It was just mid. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, bad. It was just not that great of a book. Hearts in Atlantis, Supreme. That is surprisingly one of my favorite Stephen King books. I don't know why, but I love that. On Writing, Literally Forgettable. I know that I've read it. I know it's nonfiction. Don't know what it's about. Dreamcatcher. I hate that book. Passionately hate that book. Black House, another one I haven't read. From a Buick 8 is another book that I passionately hate. Everything's Eventual, still good. You know, I love, and the story that it's named after is hilarious. I loved that story. Wolves of the Calla, another Dark Tower book that was just bad. What is that? Song of Susanna. Oh, I did not really care for that one in the Dark Tower series either. That's Dark Tower 6. And then the last Dark Tower book is also going to be... Oh, no, I put that in good. Still good. Okay. I guess because it ended the series. Colorado Kid, another book that I have not read. Cell. You know, that Stephen King zombie book. I like it. It's going in Supreme. It's my list. Lissy Story, mid. Is okay. Blaze, Literally Forgettable. Could not tell you one thing about this book at all. Duma Key, I think I read that or reread that last year, actually. It wasn't great. Just After Sunset, Literally Forgettable. Could not tell you one story in that collection. Under the Dome. I like the small town trapped horror. It was interesting. It was an interesting book. Full Dark, No Stars, Literally Forgettable. Again, could not tell you one story in that collection. JFK, or excuse me, 11/22/63 or whatever it's called, hated that book. It was so not good to me. Wind Through the Keyhole, the last / prequel book to the Dark Tower series, mid. Joyland, another Stephen King book that I have never read. Again, I'm not big on his hard boiled crime noir things. Revival, Literally Forgettable. I think it has something to do with the preacher. I don't know. The Bill Hodges trilogy. I missed the first one, but Mr. Mercedes and the Bill Hodges trilogy was just mid. It was okay. Bazaar of Bad Dreams, Literally Forgettable. Could not tell you anything about it. Sleeping Beauties, his book with his son Owen, mid. It was okay. The Outsider, Literally Forgettable. I know it has Holly Gibney in it, I believe. It was just not that great. Gwendy's Button Box. I thought the story was weird. Not that great to me. The Institute, it was mid. It was interesting. If It Bleeds, mid. Again, his short story collections are either going to be mid or literally forgettable for me. Later, that was an interesting book. I liked that. So that's still good to me. Billy Summers, mid. It was okay, not great. Gwendy's Final Task, haven't read it. Fairy Tale, it just wasn't that great to me. Holly, still good. You know, the Bill Hodges trilogy is mid, but I do like Holly. You Like It Darker, mid. It was just okay. I don't know. So anyway, here we have all of Stephen King books, tier ranked. You know, in Supreme have The Shining, The Stand, It, Hearts in Atlantis, Desperation, Regulators, Cell, Needful Things. Those are all like God tier books for me. In the Still Good, you got Salem's Lot, Firestarter, Holly, Rose Matter, Everything's Eventual. In the in the mid tier, have a lot of the Dark Tower books, a lot of his short story collections, the Bill Hodges trilogy. That's mostly what's in there. Lissy's Story, Misery, those are in there. Yeah, again, a lot of the Dark Tower series, a lot of his short story collections, Bag of Bones, and again, the Bill Hodges trilogy. In the literally forgettable category, books that I have read and just don't remember because they weren't that great, like Rage, Insomnia, Dark Half, Revival, Outsider, which I know had Holly Gibney in it, but I just don't remember that much about it. Blaze, Bazaar of Bad Dreams, Just After Sunset, Doctor Sleep, surprisingly, yeah, Bad, Dreamcatcher, Christine, Fairy Tale, Duma Key, 11/22/63, From a Buick 8, Wizard and Glass. Just don't like those books. Just not good. Haven't read, probably of these, the only one that I do want to read is Cycle of the Werewolf. So we'll get to that one eventually. Anyway, so there we have it. Thanks for watching my tier ranking of all Stephen King books.